I'll flip it around. This is some of the best balsa wood I've seen in the last 20 years. I got one just a couple months ago. And if you see that this thickness right here, this is the widest balsa wood I've seen. It was all 3 1/4 inches thick. It came in different widths. And when it dries, it tends to bend this way, which is what we need for the rocker on the surfboards. So what they did was they started gluing these up and making surfboards out of it and fiberglassing it. The big problem was getting this balsa wood. It comes in bundles, and Billsy would order it, Dale Billsy. But he would come and he would take all the good stuff, no knots and all of this, lightweight stuff. And by the time we would get there to have a chance at it, it'd be all straight, and it wasn't very good. So I really disliked trying to make surfboards to get the material. And I was at Win and See, and I already made a board, so I'm 15, 16 years old, and they brought some foam surfboards down. These were Hobies. There's 3 of them. They didn't put stringers in them, and they had them leaning against the bank, and the rocker was like this, with the fins sticking out this way, and everybody was making fun of these foam surfboards. They were just going, oh, those poop boards, they're just nothing, they're the worst thing I've ever seen. And they were claiming that the sun had heated the board and they'd lost their rocker. But mainly he didn't put a stringer. Hobie at the start didn't put stringers in the board. And I don't think they did, but it was just a deal of, it's pretty easy to put a stringer in a board. In fact, I'll grab the button. Help me, Mom. I'll move the balsa wood, and if you put it on top of the hot grill. So with this light foam, which was closed cells that didn't absorb water, and then putting this wood stringers in the center, you can get the rocker that you want. And, it was just the way to go. But it wasn't available. There was a guy by the name of Dave Sweet in LA that was pouring foam, and then Hobie was pouring foam. Hobie wouldn't sell to anybody. And this Dave Sweet didn't really want to sell the foam. So I'm looking around for how to solve this problem. But I knew what the solution was. And then luckily a guy that I surfed with, his dad was a chemist. And so I asked his dad, the guy I surfed with was Larry Gordon, and his dad was a chemist. And so I asked his dad, and it was all supposed to be mystical foam, and you had to be a magician and a chemist and everything else to do it. And his dad said, no, just make a mold and we'll get you some foam and we'll try it. And so I took a surfboard, 9-foot 2-inch Hobie surfboard that was big and fat like this, and we made a mold off of it. And it was a 2-part mold. We were worried about it, getting the clamps on and everything, so we drilled a hole in the mold. And we got a big funnel, and we mixed this foam up, got it, poured into this funnel. And then all of a sudden the stuff just started going like this. And we had it all over us. And we opened the mold and our blankets looked like a cow patty. So that was our start in that. But anyhow, we solved that problem and started making foam. And then luckily a guy by the name of Harold Walker started making foam. And it was available to everybody. And it was only about 6 of us making manufacturing surfboards at the time, and we were just doing okay. In fact, we were doing good, but we were just San Diego kids, pretty young, both of us 19 years old, and trying to, figure out what to do and how these things work. Basically, at that time, Kobe made a real parallel board, long board. They were all 10-6, 11 foot, pretty straight. Great speed, but they were very hard to turn. To turn them, you had to skip way back and back, stop turning. And then the other one was Dale Belzy. He made a board that had a wide point back here, pretty narrow in the nose, and it turned pretty well, it was good, but it wasn't very fast. And so we had a couple of kids that were working for us that were really good surfers, Mike Henson and Skip Fry. And they've since went on to be major players in the surfboard game. But we sat down and we tried to figure out how we could make this board turn and still give us pretty good speed. What we did was we came up with a board that had the wide point in the middle, had fairly good surface in the back, a narrower nose, and the shape was real good. We went and surfed it, and everybody that rode it said, yes, it's the best riding surfboard we'd ever ridden. And at that time we had different names for surfboards, and we had full speed guns, and 3/4 speed guns, and half speed guns. So I came up with the name Quarter Speed Gun, which was a terrible name. And it's probably the biggest mistake I made in surfboards, because we had this great surfboard, and then we called it a quarter speed. Who wants a quarter speed? So, but we did. We came out with it, and it was great. We had people that wanted to ride our boards before, and we'd offer them deals, and they're going, you're just a couple of kids from San Diego, and probably not. But they were coming in and buying this bringing their friends in. So it put us on the map from being a little tiny San Diego shop to selling them basically all around the world. And the next year, a guy by the name of Dewey Weber, probably has the most well-recognized name in surfing, came out with almost the exact shape. He widened the nose a little bit, which actually looks better, but it doesn't ride as well as that narrow nose. But he called it the Performer. He made a model of the Performer. He sold 1 million of those. And I learned a really big lesson. If you're going to make something good, you got to do everything. You got to, market it right, build it right, and all of that. And so with that, we did real good. I ended up moving to Australia in '65, and that was great. Loved that. Stayed with Larry on and off over the years, and finally I became a Christian in 1975. And some of the lifestyles that I was living at the beach, I found out that was desirable was what the Lord would have me do. So I decided to move, and what I wanted to do was mainly, well, the big thing was my pastor made a joke. He said, if you're having trouble with drinking and carousing, you don't go to catch a plane to Las Vegas, catch a cab, get in the middle of the biggest casino there and go, God help me. So that was basically, the surfing was my casino. So we moved up here and had a real nice carpentry business that I liked. Still shaped surfboards for friends and family and people that I knew, Scott being one of them for years, and just here and there, and stayed current. I just make the long boards now. I helped usher in this small board era, which is good, but it's a totally different thing. As most of you know, that these long boards just have a glide. That the essence of surfing is that glide. And when you get in that glide, if you're in perfect trim and you're going across that wave, there's no sound. There's no friction. There's nothing. You're just in a fabulous glide, and that's what I still like and still enjoy. And thank you all for coming out and seeing us. And